Hey, this is Stephen Amell, and you are listening to Tomorrow's Legends, the podcast. Don't fail your city.
When the danger becomes more than one hero can handle, when enemies rise beyond one city and threaten the entire world, a team must gather together to battle the odds. A team of extraordinary heroes. And that team will call themselves the Justice League.
Yes, hello, Unlimited Leaguers. We are at the end. The end of the season, that is. It's been a wild road travel this time around, but this cartoon took a serious turn and decided that they wanted to get serious, and I'm glad they did, because look how much better the story has been. I am the Flash.
And I'm Harley Quinn.
And that is all we got. It's just the two of us.
Hello, Legends.
And Gideon, of course. Sorry, Gideon. Didn't mean to forget about you. So, you are listening to one of the shows on the Cybercast Network. You guys have been with us all season long and for many, many years, so you know the spiel. You know all the TV shows that we've been talking about and covering over the years. Please check them all out if you're interested in what's going on there. I do want to add in a little side note here, just because we are also covering X-Men 97. And the last episode that me and Shadowcat did, we got a massive copyright claim from Disney on it because I had so many. Was it the last episode or the second last? Whatever one, I put in so many audio clips from it because it was just so dramatic and so amazing. And so I had like 8 or 10 audio clips in it, and Disney's like, strike, cancel that. And the whole episode got basically shut down across the entire planet. They didn't allow me to release it anywhere. So I had to file a dispute and appeal it and explain that, hey, we're a podcast and we're covering your show. We're helping promote it. We're telling everybody how awesome it is. Like, why would you shut us down? Blah, blah, blah. And then that was like a couple weeks ago. And I just got the appeal today that they have now removed the copyright because they agreed to what I had said. I'm like, that's crazy. Like, holy.
Ooh, yeah. Careful with Disney. They are highly litigious.
That's crazy. So hopefully now they know who we are and what we're about. Maybe they'll be keeping an eye on us. I don't know, but
I don't know. That can be a double-edged sword.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll see. I mean, we're not selling anything, and we're not recreating. We're legitimately promoting their shows. So
no, I know. Yeah, of course.
Fun. Yeah. But also on the network is Dive into DC and Silverfox and Green Butterfly. They are covering My Adventures with Superman Season 3 right now. And then The Mandalore, oh my gosh, Mandalore and Grogu movie is coming out on Disney Plus soon. And it's been released digitally. You can get it in other areas, purchasing it or whatever. So we will finally get to be covering that soon. But even more exciting than that is the new Ahsoka Season 2 trailer was released yesterday. Oh my God. No wonder the show got pushed back by almost a year in delays. When you watch this trailer, Harley, it looks epically cinematic. This looks like we're watching a trilogy of movies. You should see the trailer for it. I just posted it on the Mandalore Facebook page. Go check it out if you haven't watched it. Like it looks like a Star Wars movie. There's massive battle sequences of thousands of ships against each other. There's lightsaber and Jedi, and Anakin is in it, and he's training Ahsoka, and there's tons of flashbacks with him and her when she was younger. Like they're bringing the Clone Wars cartoon to life, and it's
nice.
Oh my God! Like this better. It's probably only gonna be like 8 episodes again, but this should be like a 20 episode season. It looks just looks amazing.
Nice.
I'm so excited for that. And then Firefly's still flying. That's also on the network. That one's just been put aside. The real Brian's just been really busy. And I will let you guys know shortly what's been going on with me and why we're delayed. So we'll jump right into that. Let's get to our news report because that's what's next.
We interrupt this podcast for a special report.
All right, well, I'm just going to kick it off. I'm calling this Flash's story. And for those of you that, I haven't even released many of the videos, but eventually when you'll look at my background, it's completely different. I am sitting in the dining room of my tiny little townhouse. All you can see behind me is boxes and stuff like that. So I just moved. But a lot of you listeners, we've been very transparent, very open with you guys on the show, and you guys know us fairly well and fairly personally. A lot of you, you guys know from over the years, Flash and Patty Spivot was a real story. Well, just like on the show The Flash, Patty Spivot decided to leave The Flash. So I've been going through a separation and dealing with all of that, and that included me having to move. So that is why, in a nutshell, the show has been delayed so many weeks. Tomorrow's Legends and X-Men 97. So I know we've got listeners for both shows here, but that's what's been happening. And, life must go on. The podcast must go on. It's crappy, and yes, but I just wanted to let everybody know that is why we have been away. So, we got some news. How about you go through? It looks like X-Force filled the document with lots of news points here. What do we got going on?
He did. All right. So, with the release of the final trailer, we got some more info. We know that the Manhunters are the villains of the season, and they can shapeshift. Cool.
Whoa.
We also know Laura Linney's character is a Guardian, and we posted the first 5 minutes of the pilot in our Facebook group, apparently. I missed that.
Yeah, I'm not watching the first 5 minutes of the pilot. I'm going to wait till I watch the actual show.
I mean, it comes out, at the time of recording, it comes out tomorrow, so...
I thought it was Saturday. I thought it was tonight that it comes out.
No, it comes out tomorrow. It's a Sunday release.
Oh, so it's the 16th. Okay. So, and have we decided what night we're going to record? If it's a Sunday night TV show, we haven't decided what night we're recording. Are we just going to do our regular Friday nights because it gives people the week to watch it and get in feedback? I mean, we might as well. Friday night's our thing, right?
I mean, personally, that would work fine for me. I mean, I can kind of be open for the most part. I mean, at the time we record, I don't typically have any conflicts unless a child just refuses to go to sleep. Yeah. Which now that they're back in school, they're completely exhausted. So I have less problems with that.
Well, let's tentatively.
But yeah, I don't know.
I think tentatively we could just stick with Friday, because if it's airing Sunday night, then that gives technically people 4 days, because they'll wake up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, sending feedback. Like, I think that would probably work out fine. That gives us,
that's true.
Gives us time to get the show prepared, and people can listen to us over the weekend before the next episode, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it'd probably serve as a good... I mean, we don't do straight recaps, but like a good refresher and good time going into the next episode. Yeah,
I mean, we could discuss Wednesday or Thursday too, I guess, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, they also gave us the official titles, run times, and date for the first 4 episodes of the series.
Okay, episode 4 is just making me laugh.
That's funny. Okay, so let me go in order. Episode 1 is, of course, Pilot. They're always called Pilot. So boring.
Oh my gosh.
57 minutes. I mean, this show is going to run almost every bit of an hour, so it's pretty cool. That's really
episode
exciting. 2 is called Trust Fall, 52 minutes. Episode 3 is called Outcast, spelled like the band. 54 minutes, or music group. I don't know if you call them a band. Anyway.
And episode 4, can I call it?
Go.
Episode 4, get this drum roll, please. The Weenie. What the heck? Why is an episode called The Weenie?
I don't know. That's really funny.
Carrie would appreciate it, because I'm right along his side with the juvenile humor, the weenie. That's just hilarious.
I don't know. I have wiener dogs in my head now. I don't know why. But anyway, that episode's going to be 52 minutes. So it's running 50 to 60, almost 60 minutes per episode so far. So that's good.
That's
got a lot of
good.
Material. No 20-minute things.
No, I like having full 1 hour episodes. That makes me happy. So.
Yeah, yes. Me too.
Cool. What else is there?
All right, so Tom King and Damon Lindelof just confirmed that Lanterns is going to dig into Guy Gardner's origin story, because we saw him make an appearance in a trailer.
Yeah, but does that mean Nathan Fillion's going to be on the show quite a bit, or at least maybe for a full episode for his origin? Man, that'd be really cool.
I would assume at least a full episode. I saw him in that trailer, and I was like, hold on.
Yeah.
But specifically, we're going to learn about how he got his Green Lantern ring before the events of the most recent Superman, the 2025 Superman, I guess.
Okay.
Is that 2025?
Yeah.
This is huge for anyone who's been wondering how Gardner fits into the larger DCU timeline.
Well, I mean, this is why I wanted to do a trailer, a preview episode before Lanterns came out, but we just never got the time because of what's going on with me. But I have so many questions because the Green Lanterns, like everybody knows that there's one lantern per sector of space. How?
Yeah, and we have three on a single show.
Three on the same, not even the same sector, on the same dang planet. So they're breaking every freaking Green Lantern rule there is in the story that we've all known for 40 years.
Unless there's some timey-wimey stuff going on.
I don't know. And then the other question I have is why is Hal Jordan training John Stewart? Lanterns don't train each other. That's also not part of the zeitgeist. Like they don't train each other and pass on the ring. The ring chooses the next person after a lantern dies. So they're already messing up so much for the story. And this is what drives me crazy about James Gunn and whatever he's involved in. He's just, I'm going to do whatever the heck I want. And I'm just so, So I hope they explain it all in the first episode. Why there's three lanterns, why I'm training one, why I get to choose who I pass the ring on. Like I want all of that explained.
Yeah, I really hope that they do. I mean, it's almost a 60-minute episode, and it's on Max, so like there's no commercials in there. So
yeah,
I mean, you know, they've got a huge amount of screen time to possibly explain that. So I don't know. I'm wondering if there's going to be some like timey-wimey stuff where this is taking place. This has to have been taking place before the events of Superman, based on what they've said with Guy Gardner. So I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. I didn't really get that impression from many of the trailers that we've seen, but I'm with you. I really hope they lay that all out. So I don't know. With all of this going on, it's kind of looking like we're getting something a bit more layered. It's not really going to be a straightforward ring chooses the hero moment like we're used to your point. So I guess we'll just have to see what they do with it. See how we feel about it. So I've got a podcast, right?
That's why we've got a podcast. Yeah, we'll get to talk about it. So, yeah.
And I will get to talk about it at DragonCon. So even though there's only going to be a couple episodes officially on the books before DragonCon occurs, which this year is late. Since Labor Day in the U.S. is late. So it starts September 3rd. So I'll get to talk about the first couple. There should be 2 or 3 episodes released by then. So I'll try to remember a recorder and get it recorded. The quality will probably be crap, but I'll bring it back.
Just bring your P4.
But I don't have a portable microphone.
Oh, you don't still have your older Audio-Technica microphone that we started with?
I mean, I do, but then that's only going to capture me, and there's a panel of like 5 people.
Yeah, well, because it has only been me, but what I do at the Expo, because they have their mics already set up there, I just set up the P4 and my mic right there anyway, so then I'm being recorded. You could kind of put yours, because the Audio-Technica mic does pick up everything around it fairly well, so if you stick the mic right in the middle of everybody, it should get everybody enough. It will pick up everybody's voice, and it might even pick up the ambient sound in the room that you're in. That there'll be enough of recording there that when you send me the file, I could edit it and get the volume levels up for people and stuff.
Yeah, what I've done in the past is use my little like Zoom H2N because it does like surround sound, and if I stick it in the middle, it'll capture the audience and the panel. I mean, it's not great audio quality. I think we have released some in the past. Probably have some sitting on my hard drive that I could send you to from like years ago. But anyway, so I'm kind of excited about it. Podcast is coming out. The show looks great. I've been really digging the trailers. I get to talk about it at DragonCon. It's the only panel I'm on right now. So I'm kind of bummed. I only got one panel this year, but that also means there's more time for me to go and, actually do stuff. So kind of excited.
I'll have to come back down there one day again.
I know it's tough. Yeah. It's a hike, but it would be a good time.
Thumb my way through the bayou again.
Oh my God, no. Okay, we'll talk about that later. Final point of news. The writer's room for the DC's Lantern Season 2 has officially begun. I'm sorry, what? What? We haven't even seen it yet.
Yeah, they've already got a season. Or have they already been signed up for a season 2, or are they just writing just in case?
Let's see what this quote says. This is a direct quote from whatever news source that Jeff found. Sorry, I don't have it handy. Mm-hmm. Quote, if it's successful and people love it, there's a lot of runway to launch into future seasons. But I think Chris Mundy has already started a new writer's room, figuring out what new stories could be for Lanterns. So I guess they have an unofficial season 2 writer's room.
Does that mean that they're ending season 1 on a cliffhanger?
If they do and then they get canceled, we'd be pissed.
Yes.
I hate it when they do that. Sorry.
I know what you mean. I'll just apply a beep in that moment again.
You guys are getting the best of me these days. Let me just say, it is 11 o'clock at night for the record. I only go downhill from here.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be prepared for more.
It's all right.
All right, well, let's get into our overall impression. I mean, we're talking about the last 3 episodes of Season 2 of Justice League Unlimited. So this is the big finale wrap-up. It was a 2-parter plus an epilogue, and there's lots going on in these episodes. We got a lot to talk about, and it was pretty fantastic. I think we all really highly rated it. So let's get into that part of the show.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
All right, well, we're going to kick it off. X-Force did send us a voicemail. He's under the weather. I don't know how much he says in his voicemail, but he has not been feeling well, so he's leaving up the finale to the 2 of us. Let's see what he has to say to how he wrapped up the season.
Hello, Unlimited Leakers. It is a under the weather X-Force 11. I did want to get in my feedback about these last 3 episodes of Season 2. The 2-parter. I absolutely loved it because we saw 2 epic villains in Brainiac and Lex coming together and seeing that it required the entire League and Amada Waller in order to defeat him. And really it all came down to the Flash. And I truly appreciate that we've seen so little of him this season, and yet he comes out as the big hero of the day. And I truly appreciate that. And I think it was very interesting to close this season out with the epilogue episode. Now, this is interesting because it kind of gives a tie-off to the Batman Beyond series, and yet ties so completely into our world here. But what I really appreciate is getting to see Bruce's character and how he went into things with Terry and wanted to make sure that Terry was ready to take over, and Waller had her own reasons, and it was interesting to look at that in the context of what we've seen of her in this season, of seeing how the antagonism between the 2 of them changed even in those last 2 episodes, and seeing how it came out in this one. I think it was a beautiful episode and a neat way to close out the season. All right, those are my thoughts. X-Force is out.
Yeah. That you know what's funny? That is probably the deepest, most huskiest voice X-Force has ever had.
I know. I was like, oh, ow. That, like, I feel like that hurts my voice, like, listening to it. I know that sucks.
Sounds good, though. That sounds good voice actor voice right there.
Oh, I know. Like, when you, like, first, like, introduced it, I know, yeah. I was like, oh, that's good.
Awesome stuff. How about you?
All right. I gave this, as an arc, as an overall, 9 prophecies. So overall, I thought they closed out like the arc, the final 2 episodes really nicely, and then they left us with this interesting, jump into the future and then a nod to Batman Beyond, of course, which actually like felt like a pilot in the moment. I was like, this feels like a backdoor pilot, and then I looked it up and I'm like, but this series finished before the original Justice League even started, so that timing doesn't work. But it does feel like a cohesive arc, and it does feel like an epilogue. The way they put it together was really pretty brilliant. And so yeah, we're putting all of it together for ease of discussion. It'll be interesting. But overall, I really loved how they brought everything they set up in this season to a close, and they had the events play out from the Justice Lords episode in like a slightly different way. So I really love that. I love that we saw how our heroes responded to the actual situation, how it was a little bit different. It was kind of a nice way to see this quote like prophecy of the Justice Lords play out, but with a completely different outcome. So I loved that. The payoff with Luthor and Brainiac was like literally completely wild. I did not see that coming.
I don't think anybody did. Yeah, that was right out of left field.
That was insane. And we believe you me, we will talk about that at length. But it does actually explain some of the Lex events from this season that weren't completely adding up, which I really love. So I love that they didn't just drop stuff. It didn't just like fall by the wayside. They brought it all together and made it make sense. And I thought that was fantastic writing. The epilogue, okay. It was an interesting twist. I liked that we kind of like jumped into the future, and then we also had a little bit of flashback getting to see how they closed out the whole Ace story with the Royal Flush Gang. That was a pretty neat little like flashback so that we could, you know, see how our Bruce like handled that. She was so overpowered. So I think it was wise to kind of pick that villain set to like anchor that story around. I thought that was pretty cool. It could have been nice to see that as like a full episode, but I do feel like it did its job here. It didn't feel rushed. You know, I felt like they did it well with the short time that they had. And honestly, like watching this episode does actually make me want to go back and watch Batman Beyond, which I don't think I've watched since I was about 12 years old.
Oh, yeah?
So that could be fun. Maybe we can revisit that one day.
Maybe. I never did watch Batman Beyond, so... Yeah.
You didn't?
No,
I remember like nothing about it except that intro. So like as soon as like they closed with the Batman Beyond intro, and I was like, oh, I remember this. So yeah, cool. That would be fun to revisit, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm right up there with you, giving this 9 culminations of a season. And this is how you tell stories. You keep a main arc going through the entire season. You keep everything connected, while you also explore other side stories to develop the characters. And in the end, you wrap it all up with answers to season-long questions and theories. You provide closure, and you give us hope for what could be next. This was a pretty epic finale for such a small-scale cartoon that only has 22 minutes to tell a story each week. The Lex and Brainiac duo is something to actually be worried about. And like you said, Harley, that last little finish with Ace was pretty damn sad and tragic. And it brought a tear or two for me because it really was a sad moment to end the season on. I mean, she was just a little kid, and Batman wouldn't let her down. He stayed with her until the end. That has to weigh on him a lot, and I wonder if that will be something that gets carried through next season in how he reacts and deals with situations regarding kids. Tough ending, and it leaves us pretty open to where the final season can take us because there really was no continuation. Season 3 is just it's wide open now. With what it can do.
Yeah, I think they originally thought they were going to get canceled because I'm not gonna lie, I watched the epilogue and I was very curious. I'm like, okay, I need to know the timing. I need to know why they chose to do this because it did kind of feel a little bit like a series ender, especially with that epilogue of like trying to close out not their own series but a second one as well. So it was definitely an interesting choice. But we have one final season left, so.
We do.
Then maybe we'll go back to Batman Beyond. I don't know. That's my vote.
Yeah. Well, we got this, and then we got Lanterns, and there's so much we can do. We still have season 4 of Legends to revisit, so.
That's true. We do have a lot of content potential. So.
Yeah, and I mean, where we're at. Did you realize this is Tomorrow's Legends episode 378?
Oh my gosh.
Like, we're nearing the 400 mark. It wasn't that long ago we celebrated 300, and we're already ready to hit 400.
I know. Well, yeah. I mean, having the X-Men stuff on our feed helps too.
It does bump it up. It does. But I mean, the shows that we cover adds up quite a bit. So. Yeah.
Oh no, it does. We've definitely kept it going.
Yeah, so excellent stuff. Let's get into discussing the show. Why shall we?
Gathered together from the cosmic reaches of the universe.
All right, Harley, so this show is all on your shoulders because of my situation. I did not even get to the notes. I just watched the 3 episodes last night, so hopefully it's fresh enough in my mind, but I got no notes. I am flying like Flash often does by the seat of his pants.
I know, which ironically for a while we had switched stances there, and I was the one flying under notes. But anyways, I've kind of got this organized by a little bit by like character plot lines, but also like key beats throughout the episode. So we're gonna start with the Galatea and Supergirl heavy storyline.
Okay.
So starting here, it seems that Galatea specifically was feeling a little bit sentimental with the doctor. I think it was Dr. Hamilton was his name. She like gets really sentimental with him as she is about to go off on her mission. To me, it's almost like she thinks she won't come back from the mission. So I thought that was kind of an interesting, I don't know if you'd call that a premonition. I don't know if we got her fate super nailed down. But even with like, she's leaving with this whole like huge army of Ultimen at her disposal, and she's, I don't know, feeling very sentimental, wanting to say goodbye to her father figure, I guess.
Well, she gives him a hug and calls him daddy.
Yeah.
Like she's goodbye daddy. And that took him by surprise because I don't think, we didn't see a lot of the relationship, but I don't think he realized that being the only one that basically fixes her, brings her back to life, helps her heal, teaches her everything, that will impose upon her a very father figure like, you know, mentality and connection and relationship. And when she said that, I think that affected him in a way. And whether he comes back or she comes back in season 3, I don't know. But I would imagine that type of surprise to how she's feeling about him is going to change how he starts regarding these clones and, you know, and what he's putting them through. Because, yeah, I mean, what else does she know? So it was pretty touching. It was surprising. It was pretty touching. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. He definitely was taken off guard. And I think the clone aspect is interesting because in a way, you know, he is like giving birth to children because he's creating these clones. So that is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think it is.
So we find out she is psychically linked with the Ultimen, and she can control them. They're like blank slates, basically.
Yeah, like she has that little circuitry thing attached to her forehead that she's able to just control them. Because the way he explains it is whatever you think they will do. I'm like, whoa, okay. That's pretty powerful. So I wonder, I mean, it is a cartoon. We wouldn't get at the explanation, but I wonder how that would work in a battle when there's thousands of them, and how is she controlling all of them while at the same time dealing with her own fight, right? But
yeah, I had kind of had that question too, because you definitely see, I mean, there's so many different battles and so many different things that like they're all doing, and I'm like, okay, like how can you be doing all of this? But anyway, comic book cartoon, so
true. And maybe she just sends them a command, attack, and that's all she needs to do, and they'll just figure. She doesn't have to coordinate their moves or tell them punch left, punch right. It's probably more generalized orders.
Yeah, that's true.
But
just buy me time or whatever.
And did you realize, like, before we move on, like they really sexified her in this episode. Like, that's why the daddy thing kind of surprised me as well, because she was just, they were really highlighting how curvy she was, like really giving her the Power Girl treatment and showing off a lot, and you know, it was just very voluptuous and very curvy, and the way she was behaving, and then she suddenly became a child in the last moment and said, "Bye, Daddy." Like, yeah, it was kind of, you know. But I mean, that's Power Girl. That's her. Even though they call her Galatea, that's always surrounded the Power Girl thing, is her sex appeal.
Interesting.
Honestly.
Interesting. Yeah, I did notice that, actually. Oh boy. All right. So within this storyline, we, of course, like the whole point is that they're going up to attack the Watchtower. But before we kind of get there, the Justice League has convinced themselves, I don't know, to turn themselves in. So we have more on that in a different section, but they've turned themselves in. As soon as they're in custody, they're gone. They're off the Watchtower. Immediately, there's an attack on the Watchtower with like these crazy missiles that like shoot and like eat through the entire space station, conveniently ignoring, in my opinion, that they're in space.
Yeah, it's like it ripped a hole, but then it immediately plugged the hole up perfectly.
Yeah. So some interesting things and choices. But anyways, cartoon. And yeah, the payload, not unexpectedly, is Galatea and then her Ultimen army.
Which, could you imagine, like, you see these missiles coming, so they're probably thinking, oh my god, are they nuclear warheads? Are they just regular missiles from a tank, land to air attacks? Like, what's going on here? And that to have the missiles penetrate and nothing happen, and then moments later, all of these superheroes start pouring out of them like that, I could just imagine how shocking that would be, and like, oh my god, what are we supposed to do here? Like, we're getting overwhelmed really fast.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And especially when it's just like clone upon clone upon clone of the same like 5 people.
Yeah.
Like, that had to be a little wild.
Yeah, totally.
I thought it was kind of funny that we saw our usual kind of non-speaking cameos in a lot of these scenes, as they're either trying to move civilians to safety, or they're starting to fight, or like gear up for their battle. A couple that I clocked were Stargirl, Red Tornado, Huntress, and The Question.
Oh, and Fire and Ice were in there too. They've made every single episode all season long.
Yep. They never speak, but they're always there in the
always
background.
There, yep.
And we do see even more as the battle goes on. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I did not go through. I did not list them all out.
No, but the ones you mentioned were actually in the fight. Like, we actually saw them in fight sequences. So yeah, it was kind of cool. Like Red Tornado, he's fighting. I can't remember all the names of the Ultimen, but he's fighting the wind power versus the wind power, and he ends up overpowering 3 of them. There's
that
3
was
of them
funny.
blasting tornadoes at him, and he blasted one back and proved that he's better than they are. So I thought that was kind of fun.
Yeah, no, that was very funny. That scene stood out to me. I liked that. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, so it was very interesting though. I felt like the pairings were well done. So like, using the Ultimen, Galatea figured out just how to counter each of the Justice League members. You know, kind of like you mentioned, we had Red Tornado against Wind Storm, Wind Dragon, Wind something. And then we also had like Stripe. So Stripe went up against the water lady, and he got kind of waterlogged and shorted out. And then Steel gets electrocuted.
Yeah, because he's all metal. So
exactly.
Yeah.
And they tried to take out Fire with water, but then she has like this crazy cool trick that she kind of like, basically, I don't know what she did. She like did like this. It was almost like a flare, and then like burst out of the water bubble. So
she like evaporated the water around her. It was kind of
that's what it was. Okay.
Cool. But it's funny when you mentioned Stripe. I just wanted to say, like, in the beginning, there's just this regular handyman looking construction fellow. I'm like, who is that guy, and why does he have speaking lines on the show? Like, he's just some worker from Earth. Like, who is that guy? He's just yakking and being part of, like, where'd this guy come from? And then when he jumped in a Stripe, I'm like, oh, it's Pat. Like, I had no idea who he was, because he just looked like some dude in jeans and a work shirt.
Yeah, because he was hanging around with Stargirl, I clocked him pretty quick. I was like, okay, that's got to be Pat.
Which is so funny, because this show was like 15 years before Stargirl ever came out, and none of us knew these characters really until we covered that show, and yet here they are together, so you recognize them right away.
Yeah, and a lot of the JSA is in there. I mean, I saw Our Man, Dr. Midnight. I mean, they all are in there.
So you saw Our Man.
The various, various background scenes. So
yeah, it's pretty cool.
So lots of fun cameos. All right, well, we get Supergirl actually going to check on Steel, because he went down to the nuclear reactor to make sure, that the power was coming back on. And when she gets there, she actually finds Galatea thrashing him in the reactor.
Thrashing is putting it lightly. She had him torn apart. Like, wow.
She did. Yeah. She did quite a number on him. And, like, he had, I think, most of his armor knocked off by that point, which was pretty wild.
Yeah.
So poor Steel was no longer. So
he was more Play-Doh than he was Steel at that point.
He was more Play-Doh than Steel. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You definitely get a sense of just like how big and strong Galatea is. I mean, one, because of what she did to Steel, but then two, the way that they're comparing her to Supergirl. So in the very beginning, we get Dr. Hamilton saying that she was aged to her physical prime. So clearly she is supposed to be some years older than Supergirl. Supergirl in this iteration is essentially a kid. I don't know if she's a preteen or a young teen, but
pretty young, yeah.
She's pretty young, and you could definitely see that like size difference and the maturity difference a little.
Mm-hmm. Big time. Yeah, and she's definitely way more powerful too. Like Supergirl did not stand a chance either.
No.
In this fight.
No, she didn't at all. And did you notice that she kind of kept goading Galatea? And I really couldn't figure out why. She kept trying to like provoke her, and I couldn't tell if she was trying to exhaust her, distract her, or just keep things going. It was very strange to me.
Yeah, I wonder if that was because she realized maybe she's the only one that could sort of stand toe-to-toe with her. Otherwise, no one else would stand a chance. Maybe that's what she was trying to keep her attention on her. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the only bit that didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
But then we do get a point where like Steel tells her that the power is going to reboot in 18 seconds. And so she does continue to buy time after that. And then he ends up hitting Galatea with a red solar flare, which only ends up helping.
Yeah.
So
that was crazy.
Yeah. But it doesn't stop her, not for long. So she comes right back at Supergirl, and so yeah, she just kind of keeps trying to provoke her, and she's kind of gearing up for I think what could have possibly been like a death blow, except Supergirl actually electrocutes her. And I couldn't tell if that was the plan all along or if it was just kind of like fate. Like it was just luck that, the power rebooted and she had this massive amount of energy, which was the only thing that was going to stop Galatea.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe I know it seemed like she was trying to keep her occupied for those 18 seconds to at least pass.
Yeah.
And then at that point, yeah, like you said, keep her busy as long as possible. It's hard to say. Maybe she was doing it on the fly, like realizing this is what she has to do in order to get to the point of being able to hopefully defeat her. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's kind of how it felt. It didn't. It felt lucky, not intentional.
Yeah, maybe that's a better way to describe it.
I don't know. What do you think Galatea's fate was at the end there? Do you think she's dead?
We saw her pretty crumpled up and like she almost looked like an android at the end there, but she's not. She's a clone. She looked like a crumpled up android the way they showed her body and kind of fritzing out and stuff. So I was like, what is that?
Yeah, well, I think just from the electrocution, like all of the voltage she's still like twitching from like the electric shock.
And I mean, I don't know if that's enough to kill her. Maybe she's just stunned potentially. I don't remember season 3 at all, so I don't know if she comes back. Like I wouldn't think that electricity would finish her off. She is essentially a Superman, Supergirl type of character, so I don't think that can kill them.
Interesting, but it was enough to incapacitate her.
Yeah, I mean, she did hit her with a massive tube of whatever that was. Like,
yeah.
So,
yeah, that was pretty crazy.
I don't know if I would guess that it didn't kill her because we don't see death like that on this show. So,
true.
Yeah.
True. All right. Well, we'll have to see if they tell us in season 3 whatever happened to her.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on to the Justice League. So I want to talk just for a few moments, as we don't see them very much in this first part of this, I guess, the first episode, really, other than they've decided to turn themselves in until their innocence is proven, which stood out to me as a little odd because isn't that all backwards? I thought we were innocent until proven guilty.
I mean, I guess that's what your justice system is down there in the States, right? But I think they just wanted to play whatever trust cards they had. Like, all right, you guys obviously are saying we're guilty, so we're going to commit ourselves until we can prove to you that we're not. And 'cause all the evidence was against them. I mean, the blast came from their station, but how did they prove it wasn't them? Well, instead of fighting you guys on it and continuing to fly around the world, free as a bird and unhinged, we're going to turn ourselves in. That way, we're not going to do anything more. I mean, I think that's really the only card they had to play at that point.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. Like, I don't know what else they were going to do because, yeah, to your point, not turning themselves in does make them look more guilty in a sense, even though they weren't. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, it was a kind of a surprising, because I know we'll hear it again later in one of our favorite clips. So just a surprising change, because they were all against it, and especially Green Lantern. He's like, no, to hell with them. Like, they can be scared of us, they can hate us. Who cares? We're gonna keep saving the world. But Superman's like, nope, we need their trust, and this is what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I did find it fun, like who was on board, and then like who wasn't on board.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to that in just a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically them turning themselves in and leaving sets everything up so that it's basically Supergirl on the Watchtower for the confrontation with Galatea and the Ultimen.
Hmm.
So that was basically just like the point to set it up for them to, and then set up the future of, what's going to happen to the Justice League. But one thing that stood out to me is I was wondering who was actually in charge. Was it her or was it Steel? Because it seems like they're both in charge at different points depending on like where the battle stood. And so, yeah, I thought that was an interesting question. I couldn't tell who was actually in charge. And then I was wondering, but why them? Are they the most powerful? Are they the most trusted? Are they they're not exactly the most senior. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question and a good point to bring up, because we haven't really seen Steel at all in any season of the show. And yet all of a sudden at the very end of this one, he's got all these speaking lines and he's got authority. Like, where'd this come from? But I mean, if we go through the Superman storyline, I mean, they're part of the super family. They are the most powerful beings. Steel does eventually replace Superman for a time when Superman was killed. So I guess they're just pulling on all of that. Like, Superman seems to lead the League, and maybe his cousin and his replacement are the next viable options to take control. I mean, it's not like Wonder Woman has sisters that can jump in, and Batman doesn't. Superman's the only one that has people in line to carry on his legacy.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's kind of where I was going with it too. Just that it's the super family, and so they were kind of left in charge, and they talked to their strengths or whatever. So led to their strengths. I don't know. Anyway, thought it was good.
Mm-hmm. And maybe it has something to do with her power too. I mean, I don't think Steel's really that powerful, but Supergirl, once she grows up a little bit more, she's equal to Superman. So
that's true.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought that was kind of an interesting question to think about. All right, so Batman and Waller. So they've kind of got a little bit of a side storyline here because, of course, Batman is not on board with turning himself in, and that completely tracks.
Yeah. That's so funny. I love this line when they're all in the jet heading down there, and he's flying along in his own bat plane there, and they get on the video call, and he's just like, "You remember, I'm part-time, right?" Like,
yeah.
And Wonder Woman's like, "Well, that went better than I thought."
I know. And then I think Flash, when they actually turn themselves in, states that he'll be there later.
Yeah.
And the funny thing was, he was in a way there. I don't know if it was the exact same facility, but he does go and confront Waller. Mm-hmm. He says that the Justice League has had her under surveillance for months. So, question. Did they really? Or did Batman? And he's just kind of using this? I mean, either way, it works in their favor because it lets Batman essentially prove their innocence. But I thought that was an interesting little drop. Well,
because it comes into play the whole story of when the base station blasted Cadmus there, and it was abandoned already. At that point in time, did Batman already know they weren't there, or did the League know they weren't there? I think it's just timing of some of the information that we've gotten. If he's been observing them or they've been observing them, because when I think when they went down to rescue everyone, weren't they kind of surprised? Hey, there's nobody here. It's an abandoned facility. Like, nobody's hurt. That's good. Weren't they kind of surprised about that? So that would tell me that they didn't know they left. But Batman also wasn't really involved in that storyline, so maybe he knew. I don't know. It's Batman. He watches everybody. So my best guess would be he's been observing them because he wants to solve it, and he doesn't like Waller having more information on him than he has on her. So I'm pretty sure it's just him.
That's kind of where I was leaning. I feel like he knew, and then he's just sort of saying to give them credibility.
Yeah,
we've been surveilling you, and really it was just him.
Yeah,
because he's part-time.
Yeah, he's part-time.
I guess that was the part of the time that he was working for the Justice League when he was surveilling her. Oh man. So one of the things that's interesting is he does get Waller to admit that she was in bed with Lex, like, so to speak. I mean, not like literally. She admits that she's using him for the money, using him for the funding, even though she knew he was a snake. And so at the end of the day, Batman does convince her to dig a little deeper, and she finally sees what he's been up to. And he's been playing her the whole time.
Which works in Batman's favor because it kind of, I mean, the interesting relationship between the two of them is at first they hated each other, but I think there was a mutual respect that grew between them. They're kind of after the same thing in the end, the protection of the public and all that stuff, and protection of their country or whatever. And I think they both started to understand that, and that's why they weren't really fighting and arguing anymore, which leads right into the epilogue story when she's full on defending him, and we'll talk about that. But it all does eventually get connected, that their relationship did develop a lot over time.
It really did, and that was one of the and that's why I liked this whole arc, epilogue included. Because it felt standalone, but it tied in so much to what we saw, and not only in the season but in these episodes specifically. The story was really well linked and written, cohesively. I really enjoyed it for sure, even though it said 65 years later. You're like, whoa, that's a lot of time. I know, it's crazy. Well, in the end, Waller, she does actually try to call Galatea off. Like, we see her up there in the middle of the battle with Supergirl. But, of course, Galatea just goes rogue. She pretends she can't hear her. She destroys the comm piece. And then she just, keeps whooping on Supergirl. Intent to take her out so that she can be the supreme person.
Yeah. Yep. She's like, maybe a clone, but you don't have any control over me.
Exactly.
That was pretty much that. Yep.
Exactly, yeah. She's still trying to prove herself to be her own person. So,
yeah.
Including taking out not like who she was cloned from.
Yeah. But I'd love to know the comic book history of Galatea, because this really looks like Power Girl to me. I don't know if is Galatea from the comics. I don't know if there was an actual story about her. I've never heard of the character Galatea before, so I don't know.
I mean, that's a good question. We'll probably have to look that up. I don't know that I can lead discussion and Google it at the same time, but
I just tried and it completely screwed up our video feed, so I cannot, because I'm normally on I'm usually on my 3-screen setup, but I'm down to 1 screen right now because I'm sitting on my kitchen table. So yeah, I can't change windows right now.
Oh no. Okay. Well, let's not break things. Let's just talk about Brainiac instead.
All right. Brainiac.
All right. So this is one of the more mind-boggling points of all of these episodes.
Shocking.
Very, very shocking. So in episode 1, episode 11, let's go with that.
Right.
We still think Lex is Lex. We see him finishing his Amazo-like android body where he's going to upload his consciousness. And I'm going to admit, even for Lex, I felt like that was like super odd behavior. I was like, what? Why is he doing this? Like, I don't know if it was just me. I guess I didn't feel like universal domination was really what he was like truly after, but anyway.
I mean, at this point, you don't know that Brainiac's inside him, so that, you're kind of like, does it seem like Lex universal domination, because that was never him. He was all about, in his own way, protecting the Earth. He wants to guard the Earth against all threats, even because he considers Superman a threat. He considers anything. Like really, and this is why Lex is one of the best villains of all time, is because he, deep down underneath it all, his goals and his aspirations are from a good place. He wants to protect the human race and protect the Earth. There's nothing wrong with that. He just goes against it a little bit differently, because to him, an alien superpower being is a threat to Earth, and you can't deny that he does have a point there. If Superman went rogue, what would the world do? So he's a great villain because of that. But the one part of that I did glean from this that I think does suit him, though, is because we do know that he does build his power suit, the green and purple power suit that we've seen him in all the cartoons and the video games and everything in the comic books. So this Amazo thing kind of falls under that, where Amazo is this crazy android body, and if he can put his consciousness into that, I mean, he's in an unstoppable body, which falls in line with him building himself a suit. So because that doesn't happen, this probably leads to him eventually getting his suit.
Yeah. Well, that's true. That's a good point. I hadn't really thought about it that way, because even though we'll get there, we are left with an intact Lex at the end of the series here, or season here. Yeah. Well, ultimately, Batman confronts him, and he lays out all of these pieces for us that we've been trying to put together all season long.
As I said, we got all the answers, which is great. I love the payoff of getting all the answers.
Yeah. No, 100%. Me too. He talks about the funding for Cadmus, the president ploy to throw everyone off the scent, and then we all want him to gain superpowers and defeat Superman. That's what he is trying to do, and ultimately replace him and the Justice League all at the same time. So it does have the feeling of Lex, and then just with a hint of universal domination thrown in for Brainiac.
And it was just cool. That just falls in line with Lex on how smart he always is. He's always 2 steps ahead, and he's always got plan B, C, and D happening in case plan A doesn't work. And that's just Lex. He's always been known as a brilliant mind. So to be tricking the League, and to be tricking Cadmus and tricking Waller because he has this ultimate plan for himself all along, it's just Lex. It makes Lex who he is.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And so all of that kind of tracked. So ultimately, she stops him, Waller does, from uploading his brain into his android body. And what I love is that we actually see that she's teamed up with the Justice League to stop Lex, and also to save Batman, because Batman was there first, and then Waller shows up there as backup, but just as just before that, Batman got shoved out of the window or something along those lines, and he's falling to his death before a hand grabs him. Yeah, which we soon figure out is Superman.
I mean, that gun that she pulls out was just crazy. It's this big double-barreled laser shotgun from space looking thing, and it melts the body. Holy crap, imagine if she hit somebody with that thing, what would it do? That was a pretty crazy gun.
Yeah, that was really crazy. So I guess a good thing she had a good handle on how it worked, because if it melted the android body, what was it going to do to a person?
Totally. Yeah. Oh man. So is that the end of Amazo's story then, right there?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, that wasn't Amazo himself.
It was just a body
Isn't...
built from the tech that Lex stole. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah. It was the same tech. Yeah, because he has this he's having this weird monologue where he's saying, here's all the things I did, and shockingly it was the lowly Dr. Ivo who gave me exactly what I needed, or whatever.
That's pretty funny. I think I have that clip coming up. It's just pretty funny how he's monologuing, giving away all the dirty secrets, and Batman walks in, he's like, oh, thanks, that's just what I needed to know.
And that's the piece I was missing. Yeah. Thanks for that.
Keep talking, Lex.
I know. So this is all actually the very end of episode 11, but it is not the end of this storyline. So, just when we think this might be the end, in fact, he completely transforms. And we see the real reason behind the odd behavior, the superhuman powers. It all reveals itself as Brainiac.
Which is just so mind-blowing, because we're wondering, because we were questioning this in the last few episodes. How is he strong? How is he suddenly healthy? How is he 25 years younger again? Like, all these things. And, I mean, okay, that all makes sense. But how did Brainiac get inside him? And how did Brainiac start? Because he ends up bursting out of his gut, and Brainiac's face is now in place of his entire stomach area, and he's like, what was Brainiac doing? Slowly growing android parts inside him, and he didn't know what was happening? Like, it's just so mind-boggling that he's becoming an android from the inside out, and he doesn't know. I don't understand how to explain that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they do try to do a good bit in the monologue, which we will hear again, because
maybe I'm not remembering something, but
yeah, no, like, and I'm having a hard time recalling it exactly, but like when Brainiac is doing like that whole monologue of, you know, he does kind of like explain it a little bit, so we'll definitely come back to that. But yeah, I mean, I've got like a ton of notes here. So, I mean, kind of the highlights that I picked up was that Brainiac, he was dormant within Lex. And this whole time he's been like very subtly like influencing his decisions and also protecting and reinforcing his human body while he was waiting for the time when he could get like a new body, because he said that the human body was inferior and could only get him so far.
Yeah.
So he was in there, and he was kind of just, I think to your point, slowly but surely taking over Lex's body from the inside out.
It's just, I mean, we do hear Lex scream, but when all of those parts come bursting out, like, Lex loses his arms, essentially, because they become those big purple tentacles and stuff, and his guts are gone, and you've got this android face. Like, doesn't that hurt? Doesn't that kill Lex? I'm just confused by the physiological science behind that, how that actually would work, and he's still okay.
I mean, the only way I can think of is that like Brainiac had taken over like enough of the body, and so he just kind of again like transformed the body into what he needed. Like, it's like he uses the matter that's available to him to like transform, but it doesn't take it away, if that makes sense. It's like Lex's arms are still there, they've just been transformed into these crazy tentacle things. That's kind of my read on it. But this is
so weird.
It is weird, and this whole transformation itself was gruesome. It was so like hard to listen to and to watch. I did think it was kind of amazing just to think of the level of power over like anything that he manages to like invest with, like even like a microscopic piece of like himself, which is essentially like what he did, because he says it took him years to grow stronger, and we get a flashback from several years before then. So
yeah, you're right. It was a sight to behold, for sure. It was just, wow, what is happening right there? Lex has an android face in his chest. What the?
Yes, and clearly everyone else was taken aback, including Waller, who tries to take him out, which I actually thought may have succeeded for a minute there, except we were only like 3 minutes into the episode. So I thought maybe a different twist was in play, but no, as usual, Brainiac always has a backup plan.
Yeah, always.
Or just a backup. Kind of funny. Anyways, all right, as I'm now calling them, Brainy Lex.
Brainy Lex, or Lexiac?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I chose Brady Lex, so
Brainy
however
Lex.
you
got
guys...
the notes, so you win.
However we all want to refer to them as, we get to this point where he actually fuses with the building, and then he starts to like transform into like, it felt like a million tentacles that are all taking on the Justice League one by one. And for a minute, it looks like he really is going to defeat them by being able to transform this building.
He had them all, yeah. Like, I mean, that's what he did. And that was a more familiar Brainiac look, was that big domed head with tentacles sticking out of it. That's what we've seen many times before. So that was finally more familiar. And it was crazy. Like, his tentacles, no matter what Wonder Woman or Superman did, they couldn't, they were getting overwhelmed by them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he grabs all of them one by one, and once he has everybody, he starts to attempt to upload their consciousness to his network. I'm not really sure what else to call that. I feel like everything's moving really fast in these first couple of minutes where we have this whole part of the battle going on, but it's so early in the episode, so I'm like, okay, this has to be a little bit of a red herring. Uh-oh.
we have a kitten joining the show. Yes.
But in the end, Jean actually is the one who breaks free. And even though like Brainiac, he like rips the tentacle things out of his stomach that he was trying to like suck out their consciousness with, or whatever it is he's doing.
Yeah, I don't. And maybe he was absorbing their energy because he feeds off of power and everything. So maybe he was just taking their life force and it was energizing him. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, well, he's trying to collect information, so I think he was collecting their knowledge as well.
Yeah, true. Okay.
But the minute that Jean is able to break free and kind of stop that process, Brainiac does these like quick calculations. He realizes he's not even ready for this battle with the entire Justice League. And I was like, that's interesting. So he's kind of calculated that like he shouldn't have actually tried to take them all on at once because he can't win it.
Yeah,
so I mean, it's interesting a lot. Realization.
It's a lot to take on the whole league by yourself. Like,
yeah, but I feel like he was more formidable in that like building with all of the tentacles form, as opposed to in his normal floating head form that we see.
Yeah, or even the human. We've seen him as a humanoid as well, so for sure.
Yeah. Well, once he like kind of like transforms this whole building into this like flying, floating head version of himself. And for whatever reason, this version was supposed to be like more powerful. I don't know, but it was easier for them to defeat. I couldn't tell if that was the point or if they were trying to lull them into like some false sense of security so Brainiac could actually escape and come up with a new body and repair and do all of that, because we see, that's ultimately what happens. It was just a giant red herring.
That's a good question. I'd have to watch the scene again. I did watch it just late last night. I'd have to watch it again and see what I feel about the point of that was. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I mean, like, because I think it's in the next scene that we do see that he's kind of like escaped like through I don't know if it's like through the subway or the sewer system or some like underground tunnels.
Oh yeah.
So he basically used it as a distraction, but yeah, it felt like he was trying to say, oh, I'm transforming into this more powerful thing, but in reality it was, just a distraction for the Justice League, which they acknowledged. Like once they defeated, they're like, yeah, that was too easy.
That was too easy. Yeah, you're right. They're like, that because they were getting handily beaten, and then all of a sudden, like, wait a sec, how did we turn that around so fast? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they go from like almost defeated to, oh, okay, never mind, we defeated Brainiac, but you didn't.
Yeah.
So one of the more like fascinating points, which I did like, was Lex actually trying to convince Brainiac to like turn himself into some kind of god. So it's like, he's like, oh, well, what are you going to do after you've absorbed all this information? And he's like, oh, well, my program just stops and I'll stop running. And Lex is like, well, but we could do these other things because I have a lot more imagination than you. So I thought it was interesting that the human is able to talk Brainiac into, I guess, universal domination in the end.
Well, I mean, Brainiac's always been all about power and domination anyway, so for Lex to just kind of egg him on to become a universal god, it's just like Brainiac, who's, you know, the machine's just thinking, oh, yeah, like, that's a good idea.
Exactly. So he does actually bring creativity to the table, which is something, you know, Brainiac is so binary, so black and white. But when I found it interesting when they're fusing themselves into one being, basically, he starts absorbing stuff from kind of every which way. You see a lot of different stuff, and I liked that you kind of saw like the Darkhart. I think this was from the season 1 episode 10.
Oh, yeah.
So that was like a good callback,
right,
to those types of, like, those machines and stuff. The cars, I mean, he was absorbing buildings. I mean, like, you name it. Like, he's just grabbing anything and everything he can and converting it into usable matter so that he can grow and absorb all of this knowledge.
Yep, because that's what he does. Every bit of organic matter or whatever type of matter, he converts to energy. So that's all he needs.
I know. Like, it's just so crazy. Like, it's one thing to know that, but like just the way that they visualized it, I thought was really well done, actually.
It was pretty cool. There was a lot of kind of jaw-dropping moments, kind of like, whoa, just to be able to see what he's capable of really kind of left you, you know, gasping in shock, you know, like, what? Holy crap, he's actually doing that.
I know. Yeah, I feel like there was a lot of those moments for sure.
Yeah, totally.
Well, now we have our giant battle. So this is where some interesting things start to happen when we get to the Justice League versus Brainiac for real.
Mm-hmm. Yes, fun stuff.
All right, so after the first battle, our team is trying to sort out like where Brainiac, or Brainy Lex, I guess, actually went. And they ultimately decide that he would go after the tech that he needs. So it's Waller that tells them he's going to head to Cadmus, since that's where all the most advanced nanotech is. So that's exactly what we saw.
Yeah, and it's like super advanced tech. So if he can get a hold of that, the amount of advancement that he can do to himself is insane. Like, it's, you know, it's scary what they could have there, because we don't even know everything that they have. But she warns them, like, that the amount of technology we have there could make Brainiac unstoppable. We need to get to him.
Yeah, and I mean, in a lot of ways, he kind of does become a little bit unstoppable. It's pretty wild to see how powerful they are once they're actually like completely fused together. The Justice League actually tries to radio the Watchtower for backup, but at that point the Ultimen had destroyed everything, so there was no javelins, no transporters. You could see they're all just trying to recover from the battle up there.
Yeah. There was a lot that happened. They had no idea what was going on up there, but geez. Yeah.
No, but I did think that was like a fun call. It's like, nope, no backup. You're stuck up in space. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's still a scary situation. What do you do on a space station when you're being attacked and you have no way to escape? I mean, you're hooped.
I know. It's like hope for the best. I don't know, man. That's wild to even think about. But one of the more interesting parts of the fight, like, so Brainy Lex is trying to counter the Justice League and ends up conjuring up basically I call them their evil versions, but it's their Justice Lord versions. They're alts, right?
Yeah.
And so instead of them just fighting an army of his clones, he has them fight themselves.
Yes.
But the Justice Lord forms of themselves, which is literally their innermost fears, because that's what they're afraid of turning into.
That was a cool twist that also you didn't see coming, and now they're facing down themselves, and they're I mean, it's pretty even, but I think they were shocked at who they were facing, because they were getting beaten a little bit. Like, these Justice Lord clones were beating them a little bit in this fight. They were losing the upper hand, so it was pretty cool.
They definitely were. So I thought this was an interesting touch. I almost wrote in here Reverse Flash, but I'm not sure that the Justice Lord version of Flash, even though he wore a yellow suit, was the Reverse Flash.
Yeah, I don't. I think it was just a visual cue for us to go, oh, look who it is. But it was, I think, just the Justice Lord version of him, not actual Reverse Flash. Yeah,
and so that's kind of the conclusion I came to. But during this battle is when Flash actually starts to figure out this whole phasing concept, which will become which we've seen a lot from, the live action
the
Flash,
TV show. Yeah.
It will become incredibly important here in a few moments.
It was crazy what he did. Just go through the steps here. It was insane, and this kind of leads up to. Well, go on. I'll save my point to once you get through it here.
Okay. All right. So, we talked about Flash taking on his alter ego. Superman's actually shifts into Lex, which I thought was fascinating, and he's trying to goad Superman once again to kill him to bring on the apocalypse.
Yeah.
So that tends to be a theme.
And that scene alone was just insane because he turns to Lex and Superman's just punching him, and he turns into Lex and he's like, "Go ahead, kill me, Superman." That's and you could see the effect on Superman, the way he reacted. He steps back like, "Oh my God, I almost lost control. I almost did it," and kind of catches himself.
Yeah, so he's messing with him mentally because it's not as if they're really fighting these people. They're just fighting Brainiac at this point. But the psychological battle is just as important. So
it is.
I thought this was kind of funny that Lantern and Hawkgirl take out their frustrations on each other's alternates.
It was awesome what they were saying too. I can't remember what the exact lines were, but it was pretty funny. He drops something on her and flattens her, and then she takes her mace and knocks his head off the other one.
Yeah,
and they're just
I think.
I can't remember what the words were. It was awesome.
It was something along the lines of, "She broke my heart," and then she takes the other guy's head off and says something like, "I'm sure it was mutual," or I don't know, so something along those lines. It was very funny. It was well done.
It was very funny, and then they're both like, "Yeah, that felt better." They're good.
Yeah. So
it was great.
They're working out their issues one battle at a time.
And that's why they're meant for each other, because they're both military-minded type people, and they just got that sense of humor. It was pretty fun.
That's true. Well, in the end, Wonder Woman actually takes out the building, which is fueling Brainy Lex, by throwing a javelin at it.
That was insane. She chucked that thing two-handed overhand throw.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you see the javelin, it's just a tiny little thing compared to the building, but it managed to cause enough damage that it just starts imploding and everything's blowing up. So that's all it needed.
Apparently, yeah. So it was just enough that it gets rid of the extra power that Brainy Lex had. So now he's just gonna turn to his sights on the Flash here, and he is preparing to kill him so he can bring on the apocalypse.
Yeah,
and what I thought was,
Flash got hurt. What happened to Flash that he was kind of a little bit out of it there, because he had two Brainiacs turn into soldiers and drag him across, which gives us the exact same scene that we saw when we finally saw the video footage of Flash being dragged off and his suit's all ripped up and tattered, and Lex pulls a shotgun on him. So that whole scene gets recreated here.
Exactly. Yes, that's exactly the same vision that we saw playing over and over for the question. And I'm not really sure what led up to that. I don't know if it was just Brainiac overwhelming him, or maybe after he phased through the other Flash, he would it took a lot out of him. I'm not really sure. I can't quite recall that part, but
that scene when he stuck both his hands in the other Flash, and he's just vibrating. Like he phases into him, and then he's just vibrating like he's I don't know what he's doing, vibrating his hands so fast or spinning his arms so fast, but that was insane because he's got both hands in him, and he's just like, "Argh!" And just whoa, that was a moment for sure. Because we don't this is the happy-go-lucky, flirty Flash that we've seen for 4 seasons now, and now he's stuck his hands in somebody and he's vibrating them to death. Like that was a switch.
It was a little bit of a switch, I must say.
Yeah.
So either way, the soldiers end up grabbing him. I don't remember exactly how that happened, but he actually phases out of their grasp when he realizes like what's about to happen. And so now that he's figured out this phasing trick, he gets away from the soldiers, and he gets this like long like running start to start taking on Brainy Lex.
Running start. He ran around the world.
That's what I'm saying. Isn't that crazy?
He does a loop around the globe to build up enough speed, and basically does the super speed punch. Like that's a Flash move. The super speed punch. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. And what I liked about that is like when we see that, like we see the different scenes, and then we see him like, you know, hitting him over and over and over until you know some of the armor is starting to fall off of like Brainy Lex there.
I mean, you got to think of that. Like he was running so fast that he was getting around the world in an instant to build up enough momentum to hit Brainiac hard enough to start busting him up and beating him up. Like, and he kept doing it again and again and again and again. And we see him going through China and Africa and all these little quick moments we see him ripping through. And because he's going so fast, he's also ripping up the ground and, you know, whatever, causing destruction wherever he goes. But he had to build up that much speed. And like, it's just, this leads into, I guess I'll just say it now, like this is what I had led when we first started covering the show. I had told you, Harley, I said there's going to be some moments in the show that you're going to witness how truly powerful Flash can be, that he actually is the most powerful member of the entire league, even more so than Superman, because we've seen Superman many times be down and out in a fight, and it's Flash that's still standing. And here is the one moment. Flash is the only one left, and he's the only one that can stop Brainiac at this point by using his speed in all kinds of creative ways to overcome the obstacle that they can't beat. And it just led into that. This is one of those moments. Flash saved the day because he realizes what he is capable of with his speed, and it's so cool.
Yeah, I agree. It is very cool, and I felt like he kind of jumped up by like leaps and bounds compared to like where he had been in the series so far. Yeah. And so he definitely is seen to be incredibly powerful. And we get to see him use his famous phasing knife hand for like the favorite move, the Reverse Flash in the TV series, if you will.
Yeah.
But he does that, and he shakes so much, like he phases into them in order to separate Lex from Brainiac entirely. So
nuts. How does Lex come out of that safely? That's so crazy.
Know. I know, it's crazy, but he does manage it. The only problem is he actually loses himself in the process. So in the end, we still see Flash disappear, and we see Lex one final time try to convince Superman that he's actually killed him.
So in that moment, I'm wondering what you were thinking, what you were feeling, Harley, because after he completes this move and we see him starting to fade away, all you hear him say is, "I'm never going to run that fast again," and he blinks out, and you're just like, "Oh my God, did we just witness Flashpoint? What just happened?" Like, because I know me and Jeff have kind of sneakily told you like there's some serious stuff that happens in the show coming, and did you just think, holy crap, did Flash just sacrifice himself to save the day and he's gone? Like what? What was your immediate emotional reaction there?
That was kind of like my immediate emotional reaction. I was like, oh, okay. So even though it didn't happen in the way that it was like foretold, that's, kind of feeds into my rating of prophecy or whatever. I was like, he still had to die, even if it wasn't Lex that was killing him, or, Superman or like whatever. Like he still had to sacrifice himself at the end of the day in order for the story to go on. That was kind of where my head was at.
Yeah. And it just like he ran so fast that he faded away. He had no energy. But he even mentioned the Speed Force. Didn't he say something like, "Oh, there's this thing called the Speed Force"?
He does. So, as Lex is trying to actually convince Superman he has actually killed the Flash, we do get this little scene with Superman doing the right thing. So, as he has said all along, he's not the same as the Justice Lord version, and he won't kill Lex, even though he, in that moment, does think that Flash is dead.
Yeah. Which was a great little moment to see that even though Flash died, it doesn't trigger him.
Exactly. So as he said all along, they are different. So I loved that little piece of it. And then I also love that John picks up Flash's telepathic signature. So he's like, wait, he's not gone. He's lost in the Speed Force, which was a little wild.
It's the first time that's been mentioned in this show. So
it is entirely, and as they pull him out, so the entire Justice League has to band together to pull Flash out of it so that he still lives. But yeah, he comes out of it saying, "Oh my gosh, there's this beautiful place. It's called the Speed Force." And I was like, "Oh my goodness, it's very lost in the Speed Force all over again."
But what's so great about that is this cartoon created that idea 20 years ago, and the thing is that like you didn't know about it, and a lot of people listening to this maybe didn't watch the cartoon back then, but we all, thanks to the live action Flash TV show of recent years, we all know everything about the Speed Force we possibly could know. So for this cartoon to bring it in, and he's like, wow, the Speed Force, we're all like, I know what that is. I know exactly what he's talking about. And we don't have to learn about it. Like it just connected over a 20-year span. It just connected everything for us. And I thought it was a very cool and very exciting moment. But I love that scene when they reach in. Was it Hawkgirl that's reaching in for him first?
Yes.
And she's pulling him out. And like you said, it took the entire league. They're all holding hands, and it took all of them to be able to pull him back. I mean, that's a pretty dramatic moment, the amount of effort that they are all putting in together to save Flash. It's just cool because they all know that he died in the other world, and they all know that he just died now, and we this is what we did not want to have happen. So it was a monumental team effort to save the Flash. Like, they're his friend, they're his teammate. We're saving him. It was a really cool visual just to see that and see what was happening, and to have him come out, and then of course he's just himself, like, whoa, that was cool, man. Like,
it was really cool.
Yeah, great epic finish. Like this really built up to some pretty key powerful moments that really just, wow, that was great.
It was. So even though you'd think that would be the end of the episode, it's not. We do have a little bit of a tag here. So in the end, the Justice League kind of disbands, sort of. It ends up being back to business as usual, even though Superman did try to dissuade. He tried to disband the entire Justice League. But in the end, back to business as usual. There's no Watchtower. And we do have every hero kind of at their own home base. So it is more of an Earth-based kind of thing. So Superman decides he wants to open an embassy on Earth so they remain close to the people they are meant to protect. So I just,
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
There we go.
All right. This is the beginning of that, which I just think is so cool. So let's go backwards in your point there, because first, Superman's up. He's up at the podium. They're in front of the city, in front of the world, and he's like, "We can't do this again. We're disbanding the league. We're gonna do it on our own. We've got to fix all of this. We don't want to be put in this situation again where you guys can't trust us." And I love that it's Green Arrow that comes to the defense of him. Green Arrow was the one that was first siding with the humans, going, you know what, they're right. We are too powerful. We shouldn't have this much control. and yet now it's flipped completely to the other side, and he's like, wait a second, Superman, we need you guys, and we need you, like, this world would have been done for if it wasn't for you. So, and the whole crowd is behind him, yeah, woo, and they're all cheering and clapping, and Superman's like, okay, I guess we'll, and just on the spot, he comes up with this whole idea of the Hall of Justice and figuring it all out. So pretty cool. Like, you don't realize, because we're all some of us that are old enough, we think of the Super Friends and we think all of that, like, we're all in our minds thinking the Hall of Justice has always been there and the team has always been there, but this show is essentially a prequel to all of that. It's the prelude, it's the build-up, it's the origin story of the Justice League. That's what this show is.
Yeah, it is. No, I think that's a really good point and a nice way to bring it all together.
Yeah. So it was very cool. Really, really cool.
It was. It was a great moment.
Great finish to the story. I mean, this was season 4 of the show, so.
True. That's true. Yeah. It was good. Mm-hmm. All right. So now we get to go to the future, to Batman Beyond.
Yeah, like the last step, because you're thinking, well, what do they do? We got one more episode. What are they going to do here? I guess we're gonna watch them build the Hall of Justice, I guess. I don't know.
Literally my thoughts. I was like, but where do they go from here? They go 65 years into the future, apparently. Yeah. So I don't know. I loved that. I got immediate nostalgia from all of this. I was like, oh, I see where they're going with this. We get a couple neat nods right off the bat, pun intended, mm-hmm. that we are seeing a future Batman. He's got the same yellow gas that Bruce uses, which we saw featured in the previous 2 episodes. He's dressed like all in black with this kind of like duster that feels like a cape. So, it's a little Batman-esque. And of course, he's breaking and entering into Amada Waller's house, which is something Batman is very well known to do.
Yes. Yeah. And you're looking at going, do I recognize this guy? What's going on here?
Exactly. Yeah. So he's there. Also featured in this episode, we get some like black and white styling. And I do have a little bit of a point on this later on. But we have like, I called them flashbacks, but apparently they're not flashbacks at all. So we get to see in one of these like flashbacks, for lack of a better term, new versions of our Justice League members, which I also thought was pretty cool. Yeah. We have a new Lantern, Cairo, Warhawk,
mm-hmm, which we know.
Batman, and then Aquagirl. So those were our latest Justice League members in 65 years into the future for Batman Beyond.
yeah, fun.
Very fun. They had a very fun little sequence there. So we also figure out that our Batman is called Terry McGinnis, and he runs a DNA test to figure out that he is actually Bruce's son, which was a twist I didn't exactly see coming. So he's, this is why he goes on this whole expedition. This is why he breaks into Amada Waller's house. He wants to confront her because he doesn't understand how Bruce actually managed it. And we come to find out that Bruce didn't. Amada Waller did.
Because I love how when she's explaining the story, she's like, Batman's just a regular guy, and he leaves DNA evidence all over the place. Blood on the floor, blood on the wall, blood on the whatever. Yeah, they're like, it was really easy to get his DNA, so they could easily find out who he was, no problem.
Yeah. I think she says something along the lines of, he leaves it all over town, and then she says, not like that.
Yeah.
Which made me laugh. So in the end, she uses, this crazy Cadmus technology that apparently is now very illegal 65 years in the future, to overwrite Terry's real father's DNA with Bruce's, which effectively made Bruce his biological father.
That's crazy to think about. What do you mean overwrite DNA? Like, so the kid was born naturally.
Yes.
From a different father.
Conceived naturally.
Yeah. But you can overwrite his DNA, when he's a baby? Did she say that? When did she do it that allowed him to grow up as essentially Bruce's genetics?
She overwrote the father's reproductive DNA was how she termed it.
That's right, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so that when
when Terry was conceived, even though his father conceived him, biologically he's Bruce's son.
He was giving Bruce's genetics in the transition. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
And so cool. I did think it was funny because like he has this vision of like confronting Bruce about it, I guess. And Bruce does note, he's like, I didn't even meet you till you were a teenager, which is funny because I think that's Batman Beyond right there. Mm-hmm. It's a teenage version of Batman. So.
Right.
So I thought that was kind of fun. Man. Okay, so not only do we find out that Bruce is his biological father by some weird tech type of thing and Amanda Waller's classic hijinks, she didn't stop there. She actually tried to even further orchestrate him becoming Bruce Wayne by trying to have his parents murdered just like Bruce's parents were murdered.
After they came out of a movie theater, which, yeah.
Exactly.
I know. Like, she figured out if the exact same sequence of events happens, he'll just become Batman naturally.
Yeah, which is insane. Except there was only one problem with that. The person that she hired to kill them actually grew a conscience and couldn't go through with it.
Couldn't do it, yeah.
Yeah. So his parents weren't murdered in front of his eyes. They do end up getting divorced, and there was a line of dialogue saying his dad was actually murdered later in his life. Mm-hmm. Completely coincidentally, I guess.
Just by something, yeah. Yeah, they didn't really explain it, but it...
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what's neat about this is that they're giving us an origin to this character that kind of still led him down a very similar path.
Exactly. And what I can't quite remember, because this episode was designed to basically like tie up loose ends, I think, from the Batman Beyond series because it got canceled and didn't get a continuation. And so I think,
this is like this takes place after all of the Batman Beyond. This is essentially the finale for that show. Yeah.
Exactly. So this was supposed to be a
teenager in the show, right?
Exactly. And so it was kind of interesting how they like progress him forward and like age him forward and, tie up some of these loose things. They have him reconcile with his girlfriend and there's just like a whole thing. Mm-hmm. So it was interesting. It was an interesting way to like honor a series that had been canceled like 2 or 3 years before.
Yeah. And it connects everything, which is really cool. It connects all of these shows together, which is just kind of neat.
Yeah. It did. So I thought that was pretty cool. So the only other storyline, and then I have, just like a few extra things that occurred to me as I was watching some of these episodes, is the Ace in the Hole storyline. So,
right at the end.
I know. So this is the flashback that Waller tells when she's trying to convince Terry that Bruce isn't all that bad. And this is where she really shows like how deep of a relationship they ended up like having and forming, like professionally, like not like, like a romantic relationship. Yeah. But she really did respect Bruce in the end, and she still did because they're both still very much alive in this part of the series. But so she tells the story and she talks. It's a flashback to Ace, which I thought was a really cool because she was like so powerful, and we never really got a conclusion to like she's dropped off basically where it's like, okay, well, what happened with them, right?
She just walked away after the whole battle with the Royal Flush Gang. She walked away. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want anybody to be in control of me. And she just left. And we're like, oh, man.
So ultimately she ends up coming back because her powers have evolved so far that she's not actually just influencing people's thoughts. She's completely changing the fabric of reality around her. And as it would come to find out, she actually doesn't have very much time left. she's going to die very soon.
And did they say why? Like, is it her powers are just like eating away at her? Like she just can't survive?
I think so. I think we're meant to assume that like the telekinetic power eventually overpowers her brain and essentially causes an aneurysm in her brain because it's just too much mental stress on the brain. Was kind of how I took that. But the kicker is if she dies before undoing her work, then there's going to be this like crazy psychic backlash for miles, which will just kill a bunch of people. Right. And so that's kind of why they call him the Justice League.
Yeah. I think it's really compassionate story writing to bring this back because this little kid just walked out of there. The last time we saw her, she just walked away, and kind of to leave that thread hanging out there. I mean, I'm sure we'd all eventually forget, but the fact that they brought her back, I think, is just a really nice, compassionate touch to because this kid's maybe 14 or 15 years old. To finish her story off is a really nice touch, even though it's tragic. It's a nice touch that they bring it back around.
I agree. I thought it was a good storyline to go with. And of course, it does show that her and Bruce had a connection because they did. It was a very Batman-heavy episode. And so I thought that it was a good way to showcase that humanity in Bruce and reiterate, Batman doesn't kill and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah.
Well, and I mean, going into the last little bit of notes here, like, Waller says we have to kill her. Like, I'm going to go kill her. You go kill her. And Batman's like, no, I'll go in there. And the only way you can stop her is if she's dead, and then all of this stuff will shut down. But Batman doesn't want to kill her. He's not going to kill a girl. He doesn't kill anybody. Like, he doesn't even kill the Joker. Why would he kill a little girl? But I love what really got to me deeply this moment, because she's sitting on a swing set in the park, and they have a little bit of a discussion, and then he basically says, I'm not going to kill you, and she says, well, she says, I know my time is up, and I'm scared, and I'm alone, and will you just sit with me? Can you just be with me till the end, when the end comes? And he's like, of course. And he sits down on the swings beside her, and he reaches out and he holds her hand, and that's the last moment. It's just Batman being a dad, essentially, to this little girl that has nobody at all, and they built this bond with each other, this father-daughter like bond, which Batman seems to do. Like, he seems to have this connection with kids a lot, but there was something in him that she trusted, and it's Bruce Wayne as Batman. This is like the softest side of him we've ever seen. Like, he cared so much about this little girl that he's going to sit there and be with her till her last moments, till her last breath. And I don't. There's just something about it, the way he walks out of there, out of the smoke and the mist, and he's carrying her body, and somebody's narrating. Maybe it was Amada Waller. She's like, he was with her until the very end as he's carrying her through. I was like, oh my God, like this is making me cry. This is pretty emotional stuff right here. What he just went through for this kid, and how is that going to weigh on his mind that this little girl, he couldn't do anything to help her.
I know,
but and be with her.
I think that's it. And I think that's why they chose, to tell that story. I mean, obviously it's why Waller chose to tell Terry that story, but I think that's why the writers chose that story as well. And also, it takes care of a problem of an overpowered superhero and all of that sort of stuff. So we do get to see how that gets resolved and ends up.
Yeah.
So it was good. It was well done.
It's another defining moment for Batman, because I mean, we all began because he witnessed his parents die, but this is just another defining moment for him, and that's why I said at the very top of our show, I wonder if this will carry forward in his story development, having to witness a kid die that he could not help. I wonder if this is going to affect him going forward in some way. I don't know, but it's a defining moment for him to have to go through that, and it just shows us what type of human being he is, essentially.
Yeah.
Underneath all that dark exterior and all the grumpiness and all the everything that we always see, he still has a big heart, and he's very compassionate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Which you don't always get from the gruff exterior. So.
No. So, yeah. Pretty crazy.
All right. Well, I had a couple extra thoughts, like just some just overall questions that occurred to me, like randomly.
Yeah.
So I was curious your thoughts. This one came at the end, I think, of the first 2 episodes. And I was wondering, does Lois actually know that Clark Kent is Superman? Because there's a tag at the end of that episode that definitely made it feel to me like she does not. Like, she's having this whole conversation with Clark Kent about Superman as if she has no idea that Clark Kent is Superman, in my opinion.
I don't think she does at this point yet. Because, she's talking to Clark about Superman as if it's 2 separate people. I don't think she knows at this moment.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, like she's having a relationship with Superman, but he hasn't revealed to her that it's Clark yet. So
exactly.
Yeah, it was interesting to see that we're not there yet. I mean, yeah, which is crazy to think about, because if the Justice League is formed and Superman's not with Lois yet, that's different, because as far as we know about Superman's story, he's solo at the time of their relationship. So I don't know. Yeah, it's just crazy, but I would imagine that she did not know. That was my pick.
Yeah. So a little bit of a different take there, I guess.
Yeah.
I just thought this was a really funny line from Amada Waller, and I feel like she really does have a point. Why are superheroes all so good looking?
Exactly. Why are they so good looking? They all are. I mean, it doesn't. Superman, Batman, whatever, Wonder Woman, Power Girl, come on, they're all gorgeous all the time.
I know.
It's like superhero genetics not only give you powers, but they perfect your physical looks too.
Right? I know. That's kind of what I was thinking. They hit the genetic jackpot there.
Because I mean, if you look at Batman's son, why can't I remember his name? The Batman Beyond guy. I mean,
Terry McGinnis.
Terry, he looked like a perfect celebrity superstar. The hair,
100%.
The hair and the blue eyes and the perfect teeth and the big square jawline. Like, I mean, holy cow. He's better looking than Bruce even is, I would say.
I agree, actually. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. All right, so this is where I called these flashbacks in the Batman Beyond episode. The black and white, I liked the stylistic touch of that type of like animation, because to me, I felt like it was denoting a flashback, and I loved it stylistically. However, Jeff confirmed for me that although it's ambiguous on screen, the producer and writer, Dwayne McDuffie, confirmed that the black and white sequences were Terry's imagination of what will happen if he resigns as Batman. So they weren't flashbacks. They weren't scenes that actually happened like I thought. It was his imagination of what would happen to his imagination of what would happen to the new Justice League if he walked away. What would happen if he confronted Bruce with the DNA results, that sort of stuff.
Right. I would have assumed flashbacks myself, because why would you do it in black and white? I mean, that just kind of denotes,
exactly.
So yeah, we're going back in time, but I guess not.
I guess not. So anyway, I did like it stylistically. It made it clear that it was something different. So instead of a flashback, it's, his imagination of what he thinks will happen. So
yep, for sure.
Okay, and this got kind of cleared up, but once I got to the end, and then I had to start doing some research, and Jeff did some research for us too. It's like, I mean, I remembered watching Batman Beyond as a kid. It was canceled after a couple of seasons, and it was before this Justice League series actually started. So I was trying to figure out, what was this episode for? Is it meant to tie up loose ends from that series? Which, yes, it is meant to tie up loose ends from that series. Or I thought maybe they were just aging Terry up so they could presumably introduce him in maybe either another series or maybe the next season. I don't know. It'd be kind of cool if we did get like a flash forward in the next season. I don't know if that ever really happens. But according to IMDb, the episode is intended to be a de facto series finale for Batman Beyond, which premiered in 1999.
Well, there you go. I mean, there's your answer. It was actually meant to be a finale. Okay, well, I think that's all we got for our notes tonight. That's pretty much everything. 3 episodes in under 2 hours. What the heck?
Whew. Just doing some fast talking. Just saying.
I guess so. Well, that is good. Let's pause for our ad break here, and then we're going to come back with some favorite scenes. We got favorite scenes from. We basically considered episode 1 and 2 a full episode, and then we chose something from the epilogue. So let's pause for ad break, and we'll be back in a sec.
Shape out and eagle!
All right, so favorite scenes. This is from Panic in the Sky and Divided We Fall, which is episode 11 and 12. We got 4 scenes from this one. So
nice.
I'm up first because this is right early in the beginning and is called What Have We Done? And this is when Superman calls the team in for a meeting to discuss turning themselves in to the government. So here's that scene.
Diana, John, Shaira, meet me in the main conference room. Now. You too, John. What have we done?
We haven't done anything. An outside force took control of the binary fusion generator. Whoever's behind that is responsible for the destruction of Cadmus. Not us.
Tell that to all those people in New Mexico. They're terrified of us. So's the government.
We can't let that stop us from doing our job. We aren't here to be liked. We're here to make the world a safer place.
How are we doing so far today?
Come on, man.
I don't see the 2 goals as mutually exclusive. We should make a gesture of cooperation.
That's not a bad idea.
We could dismantle the binary fusion generator, at least until our innocence has been proven.
I've seen it on 100 worlds. Space-based weapons always destabilize planetary politics.
Okay, getting rid of that thing is a start, but it's not going to be enough. We have to regain their trust.
Then there's only one thing to do.
I need some light over here.
May I have your attention, please? I have an announcement to make. Until it's been proven that we aren't responsible for the tragedy in New Mexico, the founding members are turning ourselves into U.S. custody.
What?
Absolutely not. That's insane.
No,
You can't do that.
now.
You can't. No, don't do it.
Cooperate fully with the investigation. Give them whatever they ask for.
But Clark, Superman.
Hold the fort, Kara. We're counting on you. All of you.
You want me to what?
Turn yourself over into U.S. custody, along with the rest of us.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Meet us at the coordinates I'm sending first. We should all go over together.
This is the single dumbest plan I've ever heard. If you're feeling guilty, clear your own name. Don't stand on the sidelines waiting for somebody else to do it.
We've already voted. 5 in favor.
6.
You have to come with us, Bruce.
I don't have to do anything. I'm a part-timer, remember?
Actually, he took it a lot better than I'd expected.
So, I love that whole sequence. There's a lot in there. First, we have that, like I said, Green Lantern going, I don't care what the people think. Like, it doesn't matter. We're here to protect them. And so there's that little bit of argument. And then what I really appreciate, we've been covering the show for 4 seasons now. And I don't know for you, Harley, but when I listen to that clip and it's the main members sitting around the round table talking, every voice actor has really become the character that they're portraying. And when you hear the voice, you just know, yeah, that's Wonder Woman. And yeah, that's Green Lantern. Like, these characters, these voice actors have become these characters so through and through that it's very easily recognizable who's who and what we're listening to. Like, we don't need a visual anymore. You know their voices so well. And I just really thought that was cool to kind of acknowledge that 4 seasons in now. Wow, they really are these characters.
They are, and they've definitely like matured a bit, just as voice actors, like as these characters. You know, like you can see the evolution over the last couple of years of that they've voiced them. So that was fun.
Yeah, true. And then I had to leave in the fun part with Batman and whatever because it's just
No, that was great. I'm glad we got to hear that again.
Yeah, there you go. That was good. X-Force is next, and he's got the Batman versus Waller scene. So let's take a listen.
We've got business, Waller. You told me once that you were a patriot. Well, it's time to step up. You have to know that the Justice League would never have fired that weapon at you.
Sure you would. It was retaliation for kidnapping your man, the Question.
And yet you weren't home. We've had you under surveillance for months. You don't think we saw you evacuate your offices?
A warning shot, then.
Don't be dense. Someone took over our fusion cannon by remote control. There are maybe 3 people on Earth smart enough to pull that off. 2 of them were already on the Watchtower, and that leaves...
Luthor. That's where you're trying to lead me, right?
You're too smart to trust him.
Who says I do? He provides off-the-books funding for Cadmus. Far as I'm concerned, that's all he's good for.
Then you must know he's got his own agenda.
He wants to be president. That's agenda enough for anybody.
Almost anybody. If I were you, I'd start looking at him. Hard.
Batman gives us the answers in there. They knew they weren't at Cadmus. She's like,
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Did the Justice League really know, or is that what Batman knew and he's just presenting it as if they knew all along because Batman knew?
Yeah, but either way, he knew. Like they're like, we knew you weren't there. Like the machine fired on you, but you weren't home. Like we've been watching you, and I know you weren't there. So yeah. I also like that. I forgot to mention it in my clip and in this one a little bit. The music too is just really building up the scene. Really dramatic. Really. Like, wow, okay, we're in some serious hot water right now.
Yeah, that's true. That's good.
Yeah. All right.
Good.
What did you go with for this 2-parter?
I went with a clip called Who Watches the Watchmen?
This is the hardest thing I've ever had to say. I'm guilty. We're guilty of the sin of hubris. We had the best of intentions, to be Earth's guardians, to keep you safe, but we failed you. We looked down on the world from our tower in the sky and let our power and responsibilities separate us from the very people we were supposed to protect. No one should ever be afraid of us. For that reason, we're decommissioning the Watchtower. The energy weapon up there is already gone. We're taking down the station as well. There's more. We want to thank the members of the Justice League for your courageous service. But in the future, you'll all have to act as independent agents. We're not going to be an army anymore. As of right now, we're disbanding the Justice League. This is the end.
Says who? You remember what we did yesterday? We saved the world. Again. You don't think that has any value? Well, think again, pal. The Justice League goes on, with or without you. Look, nobody can question your service or commitment to making things better. If you're quitting because you think you've already done your fair share, fine. We'll throw you a parade. But if you're quitting because it's easier than continuing the fight, then you're not the heroes we all thought you were. The world needs the Justice League, and the Justice League needs you, Superman.
Okay, but there are going to have to be some changes. Maybe we could open an embassy on Earth so we can be closer to the people. We could have a rotating staff, some kind of...
You guys can handle this. I've got work back in Gotham. You've got my number.
I think so.
Quis custodiet ipsos custodies.
Who guards the Guardians? We got it covered.
So I loved that. I mean, I loved the Superman speech. I mean, that was probably like, one of my favorite moments of the series to date. I thought that was great. Yeah. And then I don't know, I've always really liked that phrase in Latin, who watches the Watchmen or who guards the Guardians. It all mean, it can mean both things. Yay, Latin.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I've always loved that. Maybe a little bit from the Watchmen comics. It's always kind of like stuck with me. It's like, but who does what? But who watches the Watchmen?
Yeah.
So.
Oh, it was cool. I mean, it was neat to see Superman owning up, I guess, to what happened and doing what he thinks is always right, but the rest of the team were like, no, you know what? We actually do need you, because it's easier to have a team than to try to handle things individually, which, I mean, they would end up helping each other out anyway, even if they were individuals. So either way.
Exactly.
All right, well, I do have a bonus scene from these first 2 episodes, and this one is called Maybe Next Time.
No, it's a lowly employee of LexCorp, Dr. Ivo, creator of Amazo, who we have to thank for my impending godhood.
That was the last piece I needed.
Got it all figured out, have you?
When you and Adam worked together to stop the first Amazo, he showed you the blueprints. And I suspect you have a photographic memory.
I'm too modest to boast.
The real purpose of Cadmus was to give you superpowers.
And to ruin Superman's reputation. Imagine how sweet it will be when I save the world from the menace of the Justice League. Now, when I kill Superman, they'll build statues in my honor.
Maybe next time.
We got a lot of information right there, too, which was just cool. I like that scene. But Batman just got everything he needed.
It was good.
Yeah.
Yep, it tied it all up in a bow.
All right, let's move on to the epilogue episode, and we all each picked a scene from this one. And Harley, you are leading us off.
I am. I picked one that was maybe a little unconventional, and I'll explain why after we hear it. So this one is called I'm Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I've only had that cup for 70 years. My mother passed it on to me.
Guess that's what all this is about. Legacies.
Doubt you can find this pattern anymore. It's real china, not that synthetic stuff.
How can anyone be their own man living someone else's dream?
It's been years since I've had enough friends to use the whole set anyway.
How can I escape the curse of Batman?
Even so, one missing piece, and the set's ruined.
So it was a bit short and sweet. I don't know. I really liked how they're speaking at the same time, like, to each other, but they're talking about very different things, but the way it overlaps and like completely makes sense for like, like the broken teacup and like legacy and, just trying to figure out what happens when you lose a piece of the set. I don't know. I really liked the way it all kind of came together. So there was a neat bit of writing, unconventional for me, but I went for it.
It was cool. I mean, they were sort of talking to themselves, but it was responding to each other. It was strange. Yeah, it was something you would see in an actual movie, like, it's just cool. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, I liked it. I went for something a little bit more out of the box.
Well, X-Force has got the scene that I was going to go for, and he chose a smaller section of it, but I really wanted to play the entire clip. So this is Batman showing compassion to little Ace while they're sitting on the swing set. So I just wanted to get the whole, because there's music and the lead up, they disagree for a little bit, and before they get to the end, and I just wanted to include all of it because I thought it was like I said, it's a very key moment for Batman's story, and it's very tragic and emotional, and I didn't want to cut it up. So here's that scene.
Batman,
Ace.
did you like playing with my new Royal Flush gang?
Can't say that I did.
Yeah, they aren't any fun at all. I gave them their powers and they still hardly ever play with me.
Can't imagine why.
When I was little, Cadmus used to make me play all kinds of games, but they weren't any fun either. They'd strap me into their machines and poke wires into my brain. Ace, can you move this object with your mind? Yeah, I can move it. They weren't really games, you know. They were training me, turning me into a weapon for justice, they said. They got their weapon. I got cheated out of my childhood.
I know what that's like.
You do, don't you? You don't have to answer. I read your mind. That's how I knew you weren't going to use Mrs. Waller's weapon on me.
No, I wasn't.
You were going to try and talk me into fixing what I've changed. Before I die.
Yes.
I'm dying very soon.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Could you stay with me? I'm scared.
He sat with her until her time came.
Yeah. Pretty tragic ending. I think it affects me so much because I sit there and wonder, how does a girl, like a 14-year-old girl, however old she is, like, how does she cope? How does she come to understanding that she's dying? Like, you've hardly gotten to experience life at all, and it's going to come to an end. And I just have trouble grasping that. I can't even imagine. Like, I think back to myself when I was only 15. Could I imagine my life coming to an end at that point of time? Like, it really got to me. It was just messing me up a little bit.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, she did show a lot of maturity in that moment, which is, you know, rare, but it may, I don't know, sometimes I do feel like that comes with, you know, either kids that have experienced a lot of tragedy or kids that do get sick very young. But
yeah, exactly. I mean, it happens in real life. There's all kinds of kids, they have some type of cancer that they can't cure or whatever, and that kid has to know that I'm dying. I'm only 12 years old and I'm going to die already. Like, I just can't. That messes with me. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Well, my scene to wrap it up, I'm calling Legacy. And I just thought this was interesting. We get the entire story from Waller of Batman's son and how he came to be and all that kind of stuff. Man, this is a lot of information I didn't know. So I thought this was very fascinating and interesting and just cool that we're hearing it from Waller as she's defending Batman and why he's a good man and why they become friends after all these years. So here's how the whole show wrapped up.
That's the Bruce Wayne I came to know over the years.
You think he showed mercy? Maybe. But more likely he'd somehow already deduced that Ace wasn't really gonna hurt anyone.
He always was 2 steps ahead of everybody.
That's right. Even when it looks like it's your call, it isn't. Think about it. Bruce wanted a successor. Another Batman. He planned it all from the beginning. I never had a chance.
Honey, Bruce didn't overwrite your DNA with his. I did.
How? Why?
Because the world needs a Batman. Not that I always thought so, mind you. Before you were born, Bruce and I were enemies. His Justice League was easily the most powerful force on Earth. As you know, I was in charge of Project Cadmus. Over the years, I came to respect Batman, even trust him.
Guess the law of averages means somebody'd have to.
Did you know I was the government liaison with the Justice League for a while? I met some extraordinary people in that job, but none of them were the equal of Batman.
Right. Who could be?
Not my point. I saw him save the day dozens of times, with nothing but his wits, body, and will. But I saw something else as the years passed. He was getting older, slower. Soon he'd have to retire, or more likely, someone would finally manage to kill him. The thought of a world without Batman was unacceptable. So I decided to make a new one. I used my old Cadmus connections to gather the technology necessary for Project Batman Beyond. Bruce's DNA was easy enough to obtain. He left it all over town. Not remotely what I meant. Then I found a young Neo-Gotham couple with psychological profiles nearly identical to those of Bruce's parents. Your father thought he was getting a flu shot. Actually, it was a nanotech solution programmed to rewrite his reproductive material into an exact copy of Bruce Wayne's. A little over a year later, your mother gave birth to you, a child sharing half her genetic material and half Bruce's. But when you're making a Batman, genetics is only part of the story. The rest is tragedy. Stop me if you've heard it before. You're 8 years old. Your parents have just taken you to a rousing adventure film. A grand time is had by all. But unknown to you, a mysterious figure hides in the shadows. My plan was simple. The killer would leap out at you and kill your family. The trauma would put you on the path to becoming Batman. One problem. My assassin wouldn't pull the trigger. I argued with her, but deep down I knew she was right. People say Batman's obsessive, that he'd do anything to achieve his goals. But he'd never resort to murder. So if I was to honor all he stood for, neither could I.
And yet my dad wound up murdered. Anyway, don't you get it? No matter what you did or didn't do, I was gonna end up being Bruce's carbon copy. It was fate.
You know the Lord's been a great comfort to me all these years. Try not to look so surprised. Yeah, I've got a lot to answer for when I meet him, but I'd like to believe that for all the harm I've caused, I've also done some good. Maybe the angels need a sharp sword too. Like the good book says, he moves in mysterious ways. His plan is a mystery, but here's what isn't. He gave us free will. We choose our own fate, for good or ill. I've known Bruce Wayne for over 50 years, and I've been keeping an eye on you your whole life. You're not Bruce's clone. You're his son. There are similarities, mind you, but more than a few differences, too. You don't quite have his magnificent brain, for instance. You do have his heart, though. And for all that fierce exterior, I've never met anyone who cared as deeply about his fellow man as Bruce Wayne, except maybe you. You want to have a little better life than the old man's? Take care of the people who love you. Or don't. It's your choice.
It's like a 5-minute long monologue by Amada Waller.
Yeah, it was.
She had that. She had more dialogue than anybody in the whole season. That was crazy.
I know.
But a lot of crazy information there. Like it's kind of cool to connect it to Batman Beyond, and they gave you an origin story for him after that show got canceled. I just think it's cool that they did that. I had no idea.
I agree. I thought it was a nice touch. I didn't know that they did that either, so I thought that was very cool as well.
Yeah, it was very cool. Very, very cool. I like that a lot. So that wraps up our favorite scenes, but we're not done with the show yet. We're going to remind you how you can support the show, and when we come back from that, it's feedback time.
If you'd like to support our podcast, you can do so at our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/tomorrowslegends.
It's feedback, your time to speak up. Believe it or not, what you think and you say means a lot to us. But not? Why should we sit here and wait if you won't hurry up? So feedback or simply shut up.
All right, we haven't played that one in a long time, I just realized. So
That's a good one.
Just thought it'd be fun. All right, we're going to kick it off with a voicemail from Comic Geek Kev. Here he is.
Good afternoon, Triple Play Legends. Somehow, even with all the extra time we had to do these, I'm still on a crunch. Someday, maybe my work-life balance will be restored. One can dream. Anyway, I'm going to treat Panic in the Sky and Divided We Fall as one episode. Just to me, it's basically one episode. So the battle between the League and the Ultimen was really cool. It's great to see so many characters that finally get at least a moment to shine. Even if they're not heard, at least they get to be seen on screen. And some of these people we'll never see in any kind of live action, probably. And it was great and fitting to see that Supergirl got to take out Galatea. It is always fun to see Batman and Waller interact. They know each other's secrets, and seeing her come to the realization that Luthor is not on her side, that was nice to finally see. Speaking of Batman and bathrooms, the Cape Crusader show, also recently had him showing up in someone's bathroom while they were in the shower. So it's no wonder that people think he's a little odd. Lexiac was awesome. That was great design and another great battle. And finally, someone got one over on Lex. Pitting the League against the Justice Lords made for some really cool scenes. I still love that Justice Lord's Batman costume. That thing is just sweet. And Flash gets his ultimate spotlight, showing some actual super speed, which is often not done very well in this show. But that was very cool. I vividly remember that moment. Of course, he also appeared to cause some major destruction at the same time that he was speeding around the globe every second. But, greater good and all, I guess. Superman's speech was nice and all, but wasn't Green Arrow the one who was just complaining recently about the League and their actions? I mean, I know he's never really been high on the whole idea, but he's there. And now all of a sudden he's on their side. We got to stay together. We need to be, the group needs to stay together. I don't know, I get what they're doing. It just seemed like a pretty major switch for him. But, by the way, giving someone who is as unhinged as Galatea the control over a superpowered army seems like a bad choice, even for Cadmus. Epilogue. Not a bad episode, but kind of bummed this was the season finale of JLU. Seems like it should have been a season or even series finale for Batman Beyond. But I did like the story and the whole who am I really question for Terry. And we get to see that Batman and Waller actually end up being maybe not friends, but at least colleagues. So much so that she thought the world needed a Batman. And the scene with Ace was really done. I loved that scene. For the first two, I'm giving them 9 out of 10 Lexiacs or Brainiors, whichever. Great design and great fights there. For Epilogue, 8 out of 10 Questions of Genetics. Like I said, it's not a bad episode. I just find it a little weird that it was placed at the end of this show's season. It just feels like it belonged somewhere else. Overall, for the season, I'd give it 8.5 out of 10. Some really great stories. Just wish we saw more of the actual expanded League in situations that were clearly called for, like mass evacuations. But, a lot of the shows settled on 2 or 3 or 4, just a handful, which, I get that. You can't have 50, 60 people in every episode, but I would have liked to see a little more variety, I guess. Until next time, This is Comic Geek Kev, getting very excited about the Lantern show. Oh, and also turning the page.
Yes, we all are getting very excited. I mean, it premieres tomorrow night, so...
Yay!
Yeah, I mean, a good point. I agree. When you look at it being Justice League Unlimited, and this was season 2, we still haven't... who did we get? We got Vigilante was our major guy this season. Why they kept promoting a friggin', Lone Ranger ripoff, I don't know. But yeah, we didn't really get a lot. We got Mr. Miracle and Bertha or whatever. We got a few of those characters. So I think I agree. They could have done better and given us more character spotlight on some other ones. So, but we still have a full other season with 13 more episodes. So maybe more people get spotlight.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with season 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's turning the page to Perry White.
Hey, members of the League of Legends, Perry here. So let's finish out Justice League Unlimited Season 2 in style, starting with Panic in the Sky. It continued the trend of being an awesome penultimate episode. Here are my 6 takeaways. So, takeaway number 1, Superman, what are you doing telling Jean to turn off the news feed? Sir, you are a member of the media. You don't get to be a freaking cynic. Takeaway number 2, it's pretty obvious that the Justice League was sincere when they gave themselves up. but I would have paid a whole lot of money to see the League's faces when Waller called to say, sorry, my bad, Luthor screwed me, I need your help. We're all good, right? Takeaway number 3. Steele and Kara had a better heart-to-heart conversation than Kara and Clark have had all season long. That's just wild. Takeaway number 4. Bats truly can get into any place, anywhere that he wants, right? Except for maybe getting in to see a counselor to help him deal with his childhood trauma. Good God, man, go see a psychiatrist and take off the cape and cowl. Takeaway number 5. Why did Kara sit Ray back down on the ground rather than, stick him in her bosom like Wonder Woman did? Just for safekeeping. Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah.
Takeaway number 6. That Lex cliffhanger at the end was an all-time WTF moment. That was just freaking awesome. All right, on to Divided We Fall. Here are my 3 takeaways for this. Let's just be honest. Divided We Fall had the most epic scene of the season. Quite frankly, the most epic scene of the series, actually, when you've got the Flash doing his around the world in no time punch to Lexiac. And quite frankly, let's be honest, Lexiac has a most punchable face. So seeing this in live action was the great all-time stuff. Takeaway number 2. I did like seeing the League fight their insecurities and doppelgangers. It was a pretty good callback to the Justice Lords and some of the things that they had been dealing with earlier this season. Takeaway number 3. Quite frankly, my only nitpick is that the whole Lexiac situation required a little too much exposition to be pulled off. Maybe if they'd shown some breadcrumbs ahead of time, it would not have been a nitpick, but like I said, it's a small thing. All right, on the epilogue, here are my takeaways for that. Epilogue is my most favorite episode of Batman Beyond, and that's kind of the problem. I mean, it's not necessarily a Justice League Unlimited episode. They did this episode because they thought it was the end of the animated universe, so they wanted to wrap up Beyond. So it really only works if you've seen and been invested with Batman Beyond. And if you have been, boy, does it work. The Bruce Wayne Terry McGinnis DNA reveal is one of the biggest WTF moments in the history of DC. And Batman's tenderness with Ace at the end remains a defining act of the character for an entire generation. Just fantastic stuff.
See? Yeah.
Overall, I give the final episodes of Justice League Unlimited episode season 2 and Batman Beyond the finale an ace, as in an 11 out of 10. It was just that good, folks. All right, that's all I got. This has been Perry White making another deadline. And has anybody freaking seen Kent? We nearly had the Justice League disband, and I said all hands on deck, and he couldn't be bothered to attend the freaking press conference. Great Caesar's ghost.
But yeah, he's right in tune with some of the things that we were saying, and like especially that Flash moment running around the globe doing the super speed punch. It truly is probably one of the most epic moments we've had in the series. Like it really defined what Flash is capable of, because not a lot of people really know. Like sometimes he's portrayed as just a joke, and especially Wally West is often just a big joke. But man, oh man, and this isn't the only time. I know in season 3, there's another moment that comes where you're just like, oh, Flash is the hero again. Wow. So nice. Yeah, so I agree. That is probably, up to this point, one of the most epic moments, for sure. And he's right about the epilogue episode. Just the way they were able to wrap things up, thinking it was the end of the animated universe and stuff. It's such a defining moment for Batman, which is what I said.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, powerful stuff. Good. So good thoughts, everybody. As always, thank you for being with us all season long, fellas. And we still got another season of this episode of this show to go. So continue on the journey with us. But that is all we got for feedback. If you want to join the show, because we got more stuff coming, which we'll talk about again in a second. But if you want to join the show, it's what you do.
If you would like to be a part of the show, you can send in your feedback to tomorrowslegendspodcast@gmail.com. You can also reach us on Twitter @tomorrowslegends. We'd love you to join our Facebook page at facebook.com/groups/tomorrowslegends and become part of the community.
Yeah, so, I mean, this might be the end of Season 2 of Justice League Unlimited, but we have a third season coming. We're just not going to get to it right away because the Lantern starts tomorrow, and that is going to be our focus for the next however many episodes. What did we say? It's 10 episodes? I don't remember.
I don't remember either. It's either 8 or 10.
8 or 10
that's
episodes.
kind of the standard on streaming.
Yeah, so we're going to jump into live action superhero stuff for a couple months, and then when we're done that, we'll be coming back to Season 3 of Justice League Unlimited and finishing that show off. And then when that is done, well, then we got to figure some things out because, we don't know what will be next after that. We'll have to figure it out. So at least
I'm lobbying for Batman Beyond.
All right. So at least we know we're busy probably up to Christmas time with these with Lanterns and then third season of the show. So that should take us out for the year, and you guys know what we're doing. So definitely join us for all of that. We'll be very excited. Anyway, it's been exciting. Justice League Unlimited is done. We're moving on to Lanterns this week, and it looks like we are recording on Fridays. It's been in the notes. I think we solidified that. So Lanterns air,
even though we don't remember.
Yeah, Lanterns air Sunday nights, and we will be recording on Friday night. So you've got the week to watch the show and get in feedback and be part of it. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, that last trailer that looks pretty cool, and we'll have to see what they end up doing with it. I got questions and I want some answers. So
well, we'll see if we get them.
3 lanterns on one Earth doesn't make any sense. Gotta figure that out. So we'll see. And I'm curious to see how much Nathan Fillion will be involved, which is kind of funny.
Yeah,
because
agreed.
I honestly just can't take Guy Gardner seriously. I don't know. I don't know.
Fair enough.
Anyway, speaking of something fun, have you seen Spider-Man Brand New Day yet?
Not yet, but I do need to watch it soon because speaking of podcasting, I'm supposed to do a podcast on it on one of my buddies' podcasts.
Oh my gosh. It is one of my favorite superhero movies of all time. It's the best Spider-Man movie so far, and just one of the best movies of all time, superhero-wise.
Awesome.
Marvel is
I'm
back.
excited for it. Marvel's back?
Marvel
okay.
is back. Let me just put it that way. Oh my gosh.
Yay.
Go see it, everybody, if you haven't seen it yet. Anyway, that is it for us. Everybody have a good rest of their weekend, and go watch some stuff. We'll talk to you soon. This is The Flash signing off.
And this is Harley Quinn. I'm out.
Tomorrow's Legends is not affiliated with CBS, Warner Brothers, HBO, or the CW. We're a fan-made podcast for entertainment purposes only and are part of the Cybercast Network. Be sure to check out our partner shows, The Mandalore and Dive into DC, covering your favorite Star Wars and DC Comics properties. Thanks for listening.